Okay, guys, our first hashtag summer book report for June 2018. The theme, empathy. The book, Deafo by Cece Bell. And I have to be kind of quiet because my toddler is sleeping across the hall and hell hath no fury like that girl when she gets woken up. Okay? For reals though, she's like super scary. I mean, I love her. She's adorable, but she's like really scary. Oh my god. Hi, everybody. It is officially June, which means it is the beginning of our book club. Our summer book reports have officially begun, and my very first book report on our theme of empathy is this wonderful graphic novel called Deafo by author Cece Bell. Yeah, okay, so let's jump into it. I'm not going to give a whole ton of it away, but basically our main character Cece is the author, and she's telling us the story of how she lost her hearing at a very young age due to coming down with meningitis. She speaks from the first person, and so it kind of jumps in and out of like a fantasy dream world where she's like picturing herself as this superhero because her superpower is that she can't hear but she can read lips. And then at one point her superpower is that her super high-tech hearing aid lets her hear things that are super far away. And it's really, really a cute book. The story starts, like I said, when our main character is 3 years old and comes down with meningitis and loses her hearing. And it ends when she is in 5th grade. So it spans most of her childhood up until very, like early adolescence, right before she becomes like a tween. And so we see a lot of things change for her. She moves at one point, her family moves. And so she moves away from everyone she's known and has to like start all over again and not just be the new girl, but be the new deaf girl. And every year for her, it seems that everything is brand new again, even though she's in a small town. The new class and kids she might not have been with before don't necessarily know how to act around her, how to speak with her. She deals a lot with people just saying things slower and louder rather than actually finding out how to talk to her. But at the same time, Cece also deals with realizing that she can't just be mad at other people for not understanding her, but she actually has to try to understand them as well. And she has to help them understand where she's coming from because they've never been deaf before. And she's both been with hearing and deaf. And so she comes around to realizing that she's not without work when it comes to relating to other people. It's not just all of them that have to relate to her. That, I will tell you, was my favorite part of this book, is watching her learn how to advocate for herself and being encouraged to take charge of herself and to figure it out and to know that it's a true story. I think that it's so important that the author wrote this, which leads me to what age do I think this text would be best for. I have kind of a range. So when you look at like the reviews on Amazon, it says it's for 8 years old plus. I kind of think that there's a lot of nuance to this graphic novel that I think would be lost on an 8 or 9 year old. And so I would really say, I would say maybe at the lowest, a very high thinking 4th grader who can really pick up on stuff. There's just a lot implied in the dialogue, the narration, and just even in the graphics themselves. And then I would say at the very, very oldest, maybe a 9th grader, especially somebody who's a struggling reader. I'd say, early high school. It could probably really benefit some kiddos. I think the sweet spot is probably like middle school, like 6th, 7th grade is probably perfect for this graphic novel, or this graphic novel is perfect for them. And how do I think it could teach empathy? Well, it teaches empathy through the main character, through Cece's perspective, and how people just don't understand her. There's this friend that she makes that becomes her sidekick when she is in her fantasy land, when she is the superhero Deafo. She's the first friend who knows off the bat that Cece has hearing aids and doesn't talk to her differently, just talks to her like a normal person. And at the point where Cece realizes that this friend always knew she had hearing aids, she goes, "Oh wow, you are a true friend. You can be my sidekick." that is a very sweet, heartwarming page in this book. But it's not just teaching empathy through Cece's eyes of other people empathizing with her. It's also her empathizing with other people, because she comes to realize that she can't fault others for what they don't know, for being ignorant to her situation. And so the full character arc of this story, I thought it was so sweet because it's right before like a coming of age story would start. She actually gets herself onto a level playing field with her peers and stops seeing herself as the weird, like, special girl, and finds a way to advocate for herself. Cece is actually able to empathize with others that they just don't know what they don't know, and they don't know how to talk to someone who is deaf, and they don't know what to do. So she starts to find her way to stop judging others so much for not knowing and not understanding her situation, and actually start being able to empathize with them. And finally, how would I use this in my classroom? I would use it as a lit circle, and I would do like have this one for kids who are really into graphic novels, have some other sorts of novels, other things that I'm sure you guys are going to have that are amazing texts for us to take a look at that can teach empathy, but have small groups with guided discussions. I think that would be a really good way to do it. That's why I think even 4th grade might be a little bit too young to really use this as a class like text. Otherwise, I would say students who are stronger independent readers, younger ones, could totally just devour this book in probably 1 or 2 sittings and really like it and be able to do a book talk even with their teacher. But if it's something that we want students to talk to each other about, it needs to be, I think, a smaller group of like no more than 4, maybe 5 students who are in this little literature circle, so that they can really get down into things and talk about real world parallels they could make between the characters and the situations and people that they know and the life that they lead. So this concludes my very first book talk for our summer book reports, and I do a shimmy. Yay, books! I cannot wait to see what some of you do. I have a couple other things up my sleeve for this month. There are officially like 5 weeks in the month of June, so this is my first one. I plan to do a summer book report video every week during this month. I still have like another 2 weeks left of school before summer break, but you know what? I'm just gonna read. I'm gonna persevere and read right through. My big novel that I'm gonna be doing, and I'm doing a little turn because it's back over here, is Wicked, The Life and Times of the Wicked Witch of the West. So be on the lookout for that video coming later this month. It's a very large and dense book though, and I'm going to be rereading it for like the 3rd time, so I'll probably breeze right through it. It's going to take me a little bit though, so that'll be towards the end of the month. I do have one song that I'm looking at and a picture book that I'm looking at. I'm just looking for an article so that I can have different types of texts for my book reports for empathy. If you are still trying to figure out like, she says a song, huh? Or an article, I didn't think about that for a book report, take a look at my video all about like what do we consider a text. I'll go ahead and link that down below so that you can kind of see what I'm talking about. I could talk about it for a long time, as you can tell. When you upload your videos about empathy, will you please comment down below this one and enter the link, enter the URL to your video so that I make sure that I can see it and then everybody else can see it. And I will make sure to link all of the videos that I see down below this one. And we can all really start sharing some great ideas and get some great things going on in our classrooms and revamp our class libraries and get stuff exciting and spicy for our students. Cheers, everybody. Have a great weekend. Thank you for watching.